Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress Comic News, episode 296. I am one of your hosts, Chris, in a new location today with my co-host here, Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, joined by Darth Vader in the background. This is the morning cast. I got my Rise and Thrive mug. I don't know. This is one of Katie's mugs. I don't know if this is like a live, laugh, love thing or this is actually a place, but I'm using.
I've got my my Starbucks vanilla.
Yeah, with your he has the energy capsule mug, the Mega Man energy capsule. Pretty awesome.
That's how you start your day with an energy capsule.
Hell yeah. Before we get into the things, I just want to let everybody know the website has been down for about a few weeks, but it's back up as of last week. We had a very fantastic interaction and I don't know how, like, collaboration with our good friend Devin Quinn, who has gotten into user interface design, website design. So take a look at the new website if you like it. She has more stuff and all the things about our design on her website, devin-quinn.com. That's DEVAN-QUINN.com. And yeah, we're both really happy with the website, collaborated quite a bit, and I think it looks great. So,
yeah, as usually happens with these collaborations, when I work with somebody, I say a thing, and then they come up with something 20 times better than what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, it came out really nice. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I think the cool thing was, like, we had some ideas, and then, like, when she actually got into the website, she was like, oh, well, this is an easier way to do all these things, by the way. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Or a simplified way, I would say.
Yeah, and coming up with, I told her a couple times, like, coming up with ideas that I just sat there, I was like, I feel like an idiot for not thinking of it, because they were so simple, yet so good.
Yeah, right. So,
yeah.
And we'll tweet about it, too, so look forward to that. Go check out that thing on her website that talks about our website. But yeah, here we are. It's been a wild week of ups and downs of DC news. Pretty much everything we talked about last week has been debunked by James Gunn in a slew of tweets. Patty Jenkins has come forward with a whole essay talking about it. Yeah, so, and then, the sad news that Henry Cavill's not going to be Superman any longer. And then he immediately jumps onto the Warhammer 40K. I mean, everybody wants Henry Cavill for the project. I'm sure he'll have work, for the rest of his life. But yeah, I mean, so sad. I loved him as Superman. No matter what direction they went with, I thought it would be cool to have him involved. But the news came out that, James Gunn's writing a Superman movie. He could be looking to direct it, and they're starting with a younger Superman, which may mean a younger Justice League overall. I mean, we've been preaching this for how many years, Chris? We've been saying to reset the shit. So, rip the Band-Aid off,
Yeah, it's just smart. Like it.
Yeah.
I tweeted about it this week. I think that and it's it's Twitter, so you be broad, but a certain contingent of DC fans are being very crybaby-ish about this whole thing.
Yeah.
The Snyderverse was not good. Like, I think most people agree on that. There was obvious issues with what they did. They tried things, and I don't know. I come back to when you do Dark Knight Returns, and I don't like it, like, you have an issue.
Yeah, right.
But I do think, going back and... Because another thing he said is he wants to go with some very obscure DC characters, which is smart, because what people often forget is that Iron Man was, while in the comics, kind of a top 10, top 5 at best character. Like, he was not a known character. He was a very obscure character. He had like a shitty cartoon in the 90s, and people didn't know who he is. So doing that and bringing some of these characters that could be great to the forefront and making them a part of your universe is big. And then Superman kind of being the linchpin. Like, Superman doesn't have to be the first hero. but he needs to be the one that starts the age of heroes.
Yeah.
And the one thing that DC can't do that Marvel, and actually, you know, there's an argument here to say that Marvel's failed at it, but the one thing that DC cannot do is let one of these big three go away.
Yeah.
So there is no DCU without Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman.
The Trinity. The Holy Trinity. Yeah.
And you can even extend that, but
yeah. I agree. And I think, honestly, so like, I mean, they moved the Flash movie up, so there's talk. I mean, I've seen some things about like Ezra Miller won't be Flash after the first Flash movie. It's some speculation, but
shocking.
Yeah, shocking. Because you have a guy who's done everything by the book, like Henry Cavill, who's not Superman, and then you have a fucking loose cannon like Ezra Miller running around. But anyways, so James Gunn confirmed in a lot of things. He did say that the Matt Reeves Batverse, I think, is going to be on its own. But he also said Batman will be a big part of the DCU, so I'm not so sure. I don't know if he's messing with us about that one.
There was back and forth reports. I think we talked earlier in the week, personally.
Yeah.
And I sent you a thing saying, "Oh man, like it looks like, you know, I made the joke. Yeah. James Gunn listens to the show."
And then he tweeted that that's not true. So
yeah, but I still don't buy it. Like right now, one of the big things I've said about the DC movies right now is there's too many Batman running around.
Right.
And technically, we haven't even gotten all of them yet. So
right.
So if your plan is to have multiple Batman running around again, like I get it. Multiverse is a big thing right now. Marvel's trying to do it. I mean, DC's always been the king of the multiverse, but I think you're going to confuse too many people if you don't set it up properly.
And I don't think, I mean, from what I've seen, James Gunn understands what he has to do. And the whole thing with Patty Jenkins, you were right. I mean, she talked about how she has to go back to Rogue Squadron. It sounds like she's got some help on the script now. Obviously, nobody will ever put themselves down, but there was some back and forth about how they, you know, with the James and her both agreed that they had good conversations and nobody was ever mad at each other or anything like that.
I was going to bring that up. I thought it was really funny that I had brought up last week Rogue Squadron.
And she talked about it, yeah.
And it like became new. Like the day after we posted the show, it became huge news that like Rogue Squadron's still a thing, everybody. And I'm like, I was the only person in the world that remembered that movie. And
yeah,
now, like,
I know. Nobody was even talking
it.
about Rogue Squadron. I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing. Chris remembers. I think it's interesting. I like that James Gunn's writing a Superman film. I think that's really cool. I mean, this is the guy that made the Scooby-Doo movie a lot of fun, so I feel like he can put a lot of heart into it, and that's what it needs.
And I like that they're talking with directors. There's the rumor going around that Affleck's been talked to about directing something.
Give him a Deathstroke movie, please. Oh, that would be so sick.
Give him anything. Like the dude's so talented. Give him anything.
Yeah, give him any movie. Yeah.
But yeah, like it seems as much as. I don't want to harp too much on like the bad fans, but like as much as I saw a lot of the fans coming out and being like nobody's going to want to work with Warner Brothers after the Batgirl debacle and all this shit.
So stupid, yeah.
People are still going to want to work with. It's one of the biggest movie studios in the world.
Right.
They own some of the best IP in the world. And like this is the studio that not only owns all of DC, they own Harry Potter,
Godzilla.
They own
through Legendary. They do Godzilla through Legendary.
Yeah, like they have so much shit. Of course, people are still going to want to work with them.
Yeah,
I mean, look at Matt Reeves. He was more than willing to sign a huge deal, and he has not said a bad thing about it since.
Yeah, so they're letting him do his thing. I can't wait. You know, the good thing is we still got all the good Batman stuff coming. We still got Peacemaker season 2. So I really can't complain there if we're getting that stuff.
And the fact that one of the big differences between DC Studios and Marvel Studios now is like with James Gunn at the head, if he's still willing to be a creative in this process, like that's kind of cool. That adds a wrinkle that Marvel doesn't have, where Feige may be the puppet master, but you're not going to get him to direct or write anything.
Yeah, Dude, I'm super. I get more and more excited about James Gunn being the figurehead because he's like communicating with the fans. He obviously cares about the characters and he understands the weight of everything. So
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
yeah,
it's something I said last week too. I think just fans need to realize that something that they were looking forward to or that they really wanted isn't going to happen. And for anyone out there that wants to like say, "Oh, easy for you to say," dude, I'm losing Batman Beyond. Like I am
yeah,
also giving something up in this whole thing. So
yeah, and it's not giving it. I mean, giving it up right away doesn't mean they'll never do it down the road.
exactly, but
You know,
yeah, I am. To be fair, I do feel like this does spell the end of any possibility of the version we were going to get with
yeah.
I'm zoning on his name, but Batman '89,
Oh yeah, yeah. Michael Keaton,
Michael Keaton. Sorry, with that version coming in, like I don't think that is ever going to happen now.
which I
Maybe I'm
still think
wrong.
he's still in the Flash. So I don't know how that's all gonna.
Yeah, but he might just be like, he's been at the center of this turmoil where like not only the Batgirl not come out that he was a part of, and
Yeah.
probably will never come out, but then he's a part of this whole back and forth with the Flash and what Miller's been going through, and then he was cut out of Aquaman, and like I wouldn't blame him if he's just like fuck this, I'm moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's the talks of like um the they talked to Jason Momoa this week. They met with him. And there's more talks about like Batman and yeah, I don't know. What I'm thinking is like, 10 15 years down the road, we're in the middle of a DC cinematic universe movie like Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, post credit scene, a portal opens up and it's like Henry Cavill, Kingdom Come Superman floating down to the ground. Roll credits. That's where it'll redeem it in the end. Like 15 years from now, we get Henry Cavill comes back with gray hair, still looking jacked as ever, and now he's just running his own farm. That's when we know the DC universe made it.
He'll be under contract to be Hyperion in Marvel, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh my god, that would be. Can you imagine? Like we poach James Gunn and Marvel poaches Henry Cavill as Hyperion. He must have had so many phone calls. I mean, now the news is he's doing Warhammer 40K, which is sick because I don't play Warhammer 40K. I know you don't either, but I've seen people play. I've seen like it's just like different races and timelines and all these cool like lore. It's like souped up D&D meets Magic the Gathering with the rules and things like that. But I think it does have a really cool universe, and if Henry's excited about it, that means they're going to stay to the true lore and things like that. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and he plays it too. So like,
Yeah, he's going to be. I mean, he's one of the only people that's big enough to be a Space Marines.
yeah, it's like him and Batista and The Rock. Like,
yeah. So, and The Rock, yeah, that was another thing that came up. The Rock said he has no interest in crossing over with Shazam. It's like, all right, dude, you picked the arch nemesis to Shazam, and now you don't want anything to do with him. It's like So the thing came out that's like he only wanted to be Black Adam so he could fight against Superman. Like that was just his ego.
So I love The Rock. I think we all love The Rock.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or has he come off really, really bad with this whole Black Adam thing?
Yeah, it's like it's more of like it was more of his like ego of like wanting to be Black Adam, and he was like, oh, Superman's really popular, let me beat Superman in a movie to be like I can beat Superman. He's been obsessed with beating Superman ever since he made did he make that awful Hercules movie?
Yes.
When he made that movie, he made a statement like, who would win, Henry Cavill's Superman or my Hercules? Like he said that. Like this dude's been obsessed with fighting Superman, and I truly believe like he saw Black Adam as a route to fight Superman, and he put Henry Cavill in the end credits scene of Black Adam. I don't think he cares about any other characters related to Black Adam at all. I mean, clearly, like he doesn't want. He's like almost like jealous of the like that Shazam and Zachary Levi has his own like universe already, and like doesn't want to go over there. It's like, well, why did you want to play this character to begin with?
Yeah, that's like the villain.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Like,
yeah, it's I almost like stopped looking at Black Adam stuff because I don't want my I don't want my feelings of The Rock to be like, excuse me, sullied by how he's coming off in my eyes.
Yeah,
because he comes off just, I don't know. I don't know the right word for it, but like it's almost entitled and almost like kind of that guy that wants to be a part of the project but doesn't want to help out, like just wants to do his own thing.
yeah.
Like I want to be a part of the DCU, but like I'm not going to fight the one hero that I'm supposed to fight. No, I want to fight that hero. And if you don't bring the guy that I want in, we're not going to. Yeah. It's like, so I've had mixed feelings about The Rock recently, probably for the first time in my life. But
yeah. But that being said, Black Adam's on HBO. Everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say I woke up this morning to realize it's on HBO, and I will watch it probably today. So you won't hear my feelings about it until next year, everybody. But at least on the show. But yeah, I still do want to watch it and see what it is like. See if there is something there that is redeemable for me. But
yeah,
not that it matters because I don't think it's. I think he's done as Black Adam.
Yeah. Anyways, I think we've cut apart the DCU as much as we can. And I'm sure
I'm excited for the new DCU, everybody. Though,
yeah.
Like, let's get some positivity. I'm excited for the new DCU.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's almost like it's been a crazy week for me because at work, like they're restructuring our whole department. Like I don't need to talk about work here, but they've talked about restructuring our whole department. They've literally interviewed everybody in the department, like all the managers, and like how should we do this? They're talking about like making some people managers, other people's not managers. And while this is happening, I see all these tweets going on for the past weeks of like James Gunn. And like right at the same time, my work announced it, and then they announced it. It was like, okay, we got it all settled. Here's like, we have it all put together. We're going to give you the timeline in January. And that's like the same thing they said for DC. I was like, two big reveals coming to my life in January.
Was your suggestion for work to cast a young Superman, and that would fix everything?
Yeah, that's what I said. Get younger people in here. No, there's a similar underlying theme of like, you know, the old regime needs to be pushed out. Yeah. Yep. Anyways, but let's talk about some of this other stuff. We got the new trailer for Into the Spider-Verse 2. So many different Spider-Man variants, including Insomniac's Spider-Man video game version, and I'm pretty sure I saw the paper bag Spider-Man in there.
Yep. Paper bag, Spider Cop. There's a ton.
Yeah, really cool. Who's the villain? Do you know?
The Spot.
Oh, is that
the greatest Spider-Man villain of all time?
Yeah, they made his costume similar to Spider-Man's. It's like red, right?
No, it's white with the black spots. It's
maybe I missed that. Spot on.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chris cannot wait. Then he's so happy.
I am so excited for this. Not only just because of Spot, but like that first movie was so good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We've got Oscar Isaac playing Spider-Man 99. Spider-Punk's in the movie. Like, I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, but I do like the idea of like the different versions, the different variants, and like this was kind of the first at Marvel, at least, to do like there's different variants, but they're not all just like clones of each other,
right?
And of course, like huge Miles fan, so I thought the trailer was fantastic, and I thought it was cool that seeing the Insomniac version was really cool. I really enjoyed that game. I think anyone that's a Spider-Man fan that likes video games should go out and check it out. And hopefully they got the voice actor as well to give him a nice paycheck. Mm-hmm. I would assume they did, but yeah, that movie's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be just off the wall.
It's gonna be so awesome. Can't wait for it. And the animation looks fantastic.
Yeah. Speaking of off the wall movies.
Oh yeah, this is weird. Sony released they announced that Hypno Hustler is getting his own movie. The classic shitty villain will be played by Donald Glover with a script by Miles Murphy. Interesting. I have no idea who Hypno Hustler is.
That's a typo. Hypno Hustler. He was 100% one of our shitty villains of the week back in the day.
Oh yeah, I'm pulling him up right now. Yeah,
he's a disco-themed Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, powers and abilities. Hypno Hustler can perform hypnosis with the aid of his guitar, and when teamed with his backup band, the Mercy Killers, can perform mass hypnosis. His boots can emit knockout gas on demand and have retractable knives in the soles. Oh yeah, I definitely remember this guy.
Yeah.
Yep. This dude is Prince. It's literally Prince.
Yeah. This is one of those things where it popped up earlier in the week, and I was like, "Oh, funny story, guys."
Yeah, right.
And then like it really started to go like across major news outlets and everything, and I'm just like, "What?"
Yeah, it's
Hypno Hustler, really?
That's kind of wild.
But Donald Glover's one of those guys. He'll get me in the theater, man.
Oh yeah, I think the fact that like they got Donald Glover for the character means that like they could easily make some money off this, and I think he could have a lot of fun with the character.
And I'm interested to see as we get closer to this, because he's not only playing the character, he's also producing the movie. And apparently, Miles Murphy is the son of Eddie Murphy. For anyone who didn't know that,
I did not know that.
And apparently, Donald and Miles are like good friends.
Oh, okay.
So I'm almost wondering, like, was this something that either Donald was like, I think we can do this, or
he definitely approached Sony with this.
Yeah, or is this like he has some obsession with this character and was like, I really want to do this. Like, if you're doing these, can I try this?
Yeah.
I think there's something there where these two together were like, man, like we could do something cool here, fun and unique.
This is, I mean, the one thing that can be for sure said ahead of time is it'll be better than Morbius.
I mean, that's set the bar a little higher, man.
No. What universe are we in where Hypno Hustle is coming out and we expect it to be better than a Morbius movie? It's Morbid time.
If my feelings are correct, and like these two together were like, we could do something cool here, and like maybe it's probably just a one-off, and I doubt it's gonna like spin into the greater Spider-Man universe. Although they'll try to find a way to like, pinch it into that greater Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
This could easily be the thing that people don't see coming. That's like the best Sony Spider-Man thing. Just because I think that Sony's probably like, dude, like here's 90 million, just go do your thing. Like, figure it out. Just like say Venom at one point and you're cool.
Yeah, right. Just have Venom show up in an after credit scene. Yeah, and we already talked about the DC stuff, but one more thing I wanted to bring up. The scrapped Man of Steel script, Man of Steel 2, had Brainiac as the villain. Which, that would have been pretty dope to see Brainiac.
Yeah, you'll still get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to like think how James Gunn will do a young Superman, and I'm really interested to see where that goes. So,
I mean, a young Superman, so it'll be hopefully it's not the origin story again, but it'll probably be like a Superman year one kind of thing. And I don't know, maybe you bring in Lex. It might be too early. I think Lex might be safe for like 2 or 3, but
yeah,
it'll probably be a very bare bones, like, here's the Superman we're doing. Here's a villain that's just like really strong and he has to fight. Maybe it's Zod or something. But then Brainiac will be in there. Like I feel like at this point, James Gunn especially understands that you have to bring in that threat that while maybe the mass public doesn't know who Brainiac is, like he knows that it'll work. And it's big in comics, so.
And it's like the one thing you can't punch in the face. Brainiac.
It shows it. So you do the first movie where he's punching, like, I don't know, Zod. Let's just say Zod. He's got somebody that's equal to him. That's strength, all that shit. And then the second movie is like, but there's more to Superman. He's not just punchy guy.
Yeah.
Brainiac.
Right. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
All right. Now we can ponder that and talk about comic news. This is pretty funny. DC announced a new 80-page anthology titled DC's Legion of Bloom. The anthology will be a spring-themed book, now we've seen it all, folks, about characters inside the DC universe that have plant-themed powers. There are quite a few, if you didn't know this, including Poison Ivy, Swamp Thing, and of course, Floronic Man, who I'm surprised I don't see any Mr. Bloom. I'm sure he'll be in there.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the creators involved are Ashley Allen, Travis Moore, Kevin Scott, Zach Thompson, and Kenny Porter. I'll be reading that.
I will also be reading this.
Yeah, as much as I joke about it, I will be reading it.
You had me at Swamp Thing. You got my heart at the Floronic Man.
Oh yeah, Floronic Man is wild. And speaking of Poison Ivy, I forgot what we talked about this. Have you watched the Harley Quinn show at all?
No. I mean, I watched like the first 5 or 6 episodes.
So I'm almost done with the second season. The second season has that episode all about Batman, and like Commissioner Gordon kind of like makes his comeback in this season. But I just want to say, like, they talk about like Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn's relationship, and how like Poison Ivy's marrying Kite Man, so that's like part of the series too. And it gets really depressing for like 3 episodes in a row because like Harley's realizes she's like going to be alone and stuff. I was like, damn, like the writing of this show is getting like progressively better. It's pretty hilarious.
So I was going to say, I had a recent conversation about the Floronic Man at the comic shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't
happen often.
I mean, it's me, so
yeah, right.
No,
yeah. No, I mean, like, I don't talk about Floronic Man that often.
So, what happened was Poison Ivy has her own like series right now. I'm sure we talk about it on the show, but like, I don't really care about Poison Ivy. So, and somebody there was like a big Batman fan, so he gets all the Batman stuff, and he got Poison, and he's talking about it, and he's telling me how they've at some point they retconned Floronic Man to be Poison Ivy's father. Like that's apparently a thing in DC now.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
And I just laughed and I was like, well, is Floronic Man still like made out of marijuana? And he laughed. He goes, is that a thing? I said, oh, fuck yeah, it's a thing. And we started talking, and then, it just apparently that's been retconned out too now. Like he's just a plant. He's basically Swamp Thing at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it just turned into jokes about like Floronic Man, like now being legal in certain states and not in others, and
you can cross certain borders.
Yeah, so like he leaves New York, then all of a sudden he's like in jail because he's like transporting weed over state lines.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
but apparently that's the thing now. Like Floronic Man is Poison Ivy's father.
Didn't they have him as a villain for a while, like a Swamp Thing run? Wasn't he like in Alan Moore? Didn't Alan Moore use him and he was like a bad guy?
I don't remember that, but it could have.
I can't. I mean, he doesn't get used enough.
I need to reread. It's been a while since I read.
Yeah,
Alan Moore Swamp Thing.
I need to reread it too. It's sitting on my shelf, and I'm like, I'm just going to go back through it.
Yeah.
Especially the part where he gets to Gotham. Oh, love that.
So everybody talks about Volume 1. Volume 1's good.
Yeah.
Volume 2 is fucking amazing.
That's when he gets to
going
Gotham.
To hell.
Oh no, hell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when he goes to hell to get Abby.
Yeah.
Is some of the best comics of all time. And if you don't feel something at the end of that, then you're dead inside. And as somebody who is dead inside, I still felt something.
Yeah, so there you go.
And then when he comes back and goes to Gotham.
Yeah, Volume 3 is Gotham.
Fucking awesome. Yeah.
So. Batman's like, what's this plant guy doing in my city?
He's like, fuck you, I'm Swamp Thing.
Marvel Comics announced the recent miniseries Excellent, that's X-CELLENT, Kill Me, is returning with a second volume. The second volume be written by Peter Milligan with art by Mike Allred, just like the first volume. I mean, the name is awful. The team up on the book is amazing. Peter Milligan, Mike Allred, great team up. So
name is phenomenal. All right,
yeah.
let's stop. No, it's a huge ecstatic. I liked Excellent. It was fun. I'm down for more. I mean, ecstatic is the exception to my X-Men rule where I don't read X-Men.
Yeah. Greg Capullo is coming back to Marvel in 2023. Nice. Capullo started his career at Marvel doing X-Men titles in the early 90s before making a name for himself as artist on Spawn. He will start off there doing covers, but has teased something coming in the near future. As a Greg Capullo fan, I'm happy for him. I probably won't get anything until he starts writing or drawing an ongoing. I'll probably pick that up just to support him.
Yeah, I'm not going to grab covers. I'm not a cover guy. I'm not going to do that.
The only person I'll physically buy covers for is our guy over at DC who does Shazam right now, and I'm drawing.
Dan Moore. or Doc Shaner.
Doc Shaner, because he doesn't draw enough for me. And I love his art.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I'm not a big cover guy, but one thing I like about Capullo, I don't know if you saw, he recently did a interview. I forget the podcast, but he talked about artists in comics.
Yeah.
And he had stated one of the things that he thinks that a lot of creators in comics are screwing up these days is long runs.
Mm.
He's like, he goes, I think that people need to just find a character that they can attach, especially he's talking about artists mostly, but find a character they can attach themselves to and stick with them. And he goes, if you do that, it's better for your career, better things come out of it. And his example was doing Batman. Like, obviously everybody wants to do Batman, but he's like, I got to do Batman and stick with Batman for years.
Right.
And we did something unique and special and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and then eventually, like, as an extension of that Batman, we got to do Death Metal and Dark Knight's Metal and all this stuff where I got to draw everybody.
Yeah.
So I like that he has that philosophy. I wish more creators had. So I just really hope, because like I said, he's known for X-Men at Marvel.
Right.
I really hope that's not what he's doing, because then I just can't do it. I can't do X-Men anymore.
Yeah. That'd be unfortunate. Give him a friggin' Avengers book, man.
I mean, that'd be great. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out where I would want him, but
yeah.
I mean, Avengers would be cool. I just been trying to think, like, who fits Capullo.
Doctor Strange.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, obviously, with Capullo's art, it seems like a lot of the times he has especially with the colorist he works with, he has a darker style where his art kind of fits in Spawn, Batman. Even what was that book he did with Miller?
Oh man, that's like the fantasy one. I can't remember.
Yeah, like even that it wasn't like dark in the sense of it was always at night, but it had like a darker tone in terms of the color palette.
Yep.
So I'm trying to think, and the first thing that comes to mind is Daredevil.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
But I don't see him doing Daredevil in the near future.
Maybe.
And then after that at Marvel, it's like, who is it?
Yeah.
Is it Moon Knight? Do you want to do Marvel Batman? Like, not really. So we'll see. But I'm excited to get the announcement next year.
Yeah. AWA announced a new series based on Cold War espionage from writer Cullen Bunn, and artist Mike Deodato Jr. Series titled Red Zone, and will take place in modern times with a retired agent who becomes into a mystery that calls back to his past. Cullen Bunn, typically writing horror and body dysmorphia shit, so this would be interesting to see a Cold War espionage book from him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to pick this up, but
yeah,
I love Deodato Jr.'s art. Yeah. AWA's been one of those publishers. I've tried things from them here and there, and their superhero universe in my opinion, is a waste of time.
Yeah.
But some of their kind of creator-owned stuff they've been doing seems interesting. But I mean, you got me at Cold War espionage.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
This one's pretty crazy. Dark Horse is publishing the next big sci-fi epic from industry legend Jim Starlin. The book's called Order and Outrage, which follows a world in the grip of a totalitarian government that deems humans to be an inferior race. The series will be written by Jim Starlin with artist Rags Morales. That's a crazy team up. Rags, amazing art. Jim Starlin writing a new property? This is insane.
Yeah, it's been. He did. I'm Dreadstar years ago, which people love, and I haven't actually read because they've been. So the reprints went over to Dark Horse, and they solicited it 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I ordered them. I don't know where they are, but I want to read that. But yeah, he's known for. He did some cosmic stuff at DC that was okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's known for his Thanos stuff at Marvel. I'm a huge Jim Starlin fan. And yeah, Rags Morales, holy shit, man. I am so ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is interesting. The Dungeons and Dragons cartoon series is returning as a comic series in March in a new title called Dungeons and Dragons Saturday Morning Adventures. The comic series was written by David M. Booher and Sam Maggs with art by George Cambadais. I might check this out. I never really watched that cartoon. I played the old school video games, though.
I never watched the cartoon either, but I know a older generation is like excited about this.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I have someone in particular in mind that I know, but it's cool they're going back to it. I mean, IDW needs to try some things.
Yeah,
as we're going to talk about later. But
yeah,
it's cool they're at least going to give this a shot.
Yeah,
I won't pick it up though.
I might check out the first issue. IDW's next big crossover miniseries is coming next year with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles / Usagi Yojimbo. The two legendary comics. Oh, sorry, TMNT Usagi Yojimbo Where When is the name of it. The two legendary comic series will meet up in feudal Japan setting written by and drawn by Stan Sakai. That sounds pretty cool, actually. I mean, why haven't these characters crossed over before? What do you think about it?
It seems perfect, right?
Yeah, right. It's perfect. Yeah, you have a samurai and you have Ninja Turtles.
I mean, I'll say this though: the last time I saw TMNT go to feudal Japan did not work out that well.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool, though. Live action movie.
Yep.
But
we don't talk about that.
Which is sad because those first two movies I love so much. But it's such a perfect crossover. And the art, like I saw, the image they showed was from the Usagi Jimbo creator. So I wish he was the one doing it because I love his rendition of the turtles next to Usagi Jimbo.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But if he does just the covers, that'll be phenomenal. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested, but we'll see.
I think that's a good. It's funny that like it hasn't happened before because they're very similar characters
with very similar backgrounds.
Very similar backgrounds, and like all the crossover we've gotten is like crazy crossovers. And this
like TMNT meets Star Trek. Like what?
Yeah. This is interesting. IDW officially announced what's been rumored. They'll be losing the licenses for Transformers and G.I. Joe starting 2023. We don't know who will be publishing the comic moving forward. I wonder if DC or Marvel are going to fight over that.
I don't think Marvel will go for it. I don't think either will go for it, honestly.
Yeah, I guess they don't really need it.
I mean, Marvel did do Transformers and G.I. Joes in the beginning. But it seems to me like they're, especially after the Conan debacle, that Marvel's not interested in licensing out stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they own everything, so what do they care?
They already own everything.
But Hasbro is trying to make their properties a thing. I mean, Transformers is a thing. Don't get me wrong, but they're trying to make some sort of big thing out of it, and I don't know. Apparently, they're not happy with IDW. I don't know where it would go though. I mean, Titan likes to buy this stuff, but they do a really bad job with it.
Yeah, they would do.
Maybe Boom. I don't know. It's weird. What's lost in all this for me is the one property I do care about, which is Rom the Space Knight, and what happens with him, and if somebody will do something with him.
Please use Rom.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. With that, let's talk about what we read this week. First off the bat, Quick Stops number 2, Kevin Smith, Philip Hester. I read this, caught up from last week. Like everything Chris said, good issue. At the cousin's funeral before Clerks starts, so that's cool.
Didn't it feel like an old Kevin Smith movie when you're reading it?
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, the conversation. Because it was just like a lot of talking, a lot of dialogue between characters.
It was two people talking the whole time.
Yeah. All right, I think everything else was new this week. So let me talk about Granite State Punk Breaking Edge by Mr. Travis Gibb and Patrick Burmeyer on the art. This is the new installment of Granite State Punk, part 2 to the character that Travis Gibb has created. I thought it was a cool issue too. We get some more lore behind, like Zeke is the main character's powers. You get to see someone from his family that supposedly knows about his powers, and the way he defeats this evil witch and stuff is just really funny. It was an enjoyable book. I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, Travis Gibbs building a cool universe with all his different properties over at Orange Cone Productions. So check it out.
The reason I haven't read this yet is because I got the physical one and I just want to read it physically.
I'm a digital guy. I might have gotten the physical too. I don't know. Stuff comes in the mail. I forget about it. Shirtless Bear Fighter number 2, or Shirtless Bear Fighter Part 2, number 5. This is 5 out of 6. This is Jody Lehup and Vendrell on the art. You have the team that's it's all bear themed shit. So Ursa Major is trying to fight them. Shirtless Bear Fighter's missing. But the fun part of this issue is some of the characters go to this colorful realm where there's all these colorful bears that like put them into trance, kind of like Grateful Dead bears, but they're all like positive vibe bears. So one is like they all contribute something to like this spa that they're in that like hypnotizes the characters. And then we find out Ursa Major is trying to turn all the humans into bears. So I think it's a fun issue. This series is crazy. Billionaire Island number 2. This is Cult of the Dogs, the second part. Mark Russell Pugh on the art. Are you reading this?
No.
It's okay. You have all these groups going back to the island, kind of like Jurassic Park style. We get that the butler's dead, who has all the bank codes for the richest dog in the world. That's like a trillionaire. There was some like heavy-handed like Mark Russell shitting on famous actors, because there's this group of famous actors, and included in them is Kevin Sorbo, who for his crazy anti-vax shit that he's been posting. The one actress from Star Wars that got fired because she didn't. I think it was a lot of people who denied like COVID and vaccines. I think that was everybody in that group, and they all like get brutally murdered. But they're all like hiding out on the island, and Kevin Sorbo is a complete idiot, like still dressed like Hercules, and they're like, "How have you managed to make it this long?" So that was kind of funny. I think it's just Mark Russell being fed up with stupid celebrities. Radiant Black number 20, Kyle Higgins, Costa on the art. Radiant Black's still doing things. There's a big fight with the giant robot that shows up in Brazil. All the other Radiants get involved. They even break out Radiant Red from jail, and then she realizes she has to go back to jail. Radiant Yellow is trying to do the whole Doctor Strange thing of see every alternate universe and how they can win, but it seems like every timeline deals with that. There's a war coming, so they need to prepare for it. The more I read this book, the more I can see it becoming something like an Invincible style ongoing.
Radiant Black?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the plan here.
Yeah, they're going for like 60 issues.
The only criticism I have on it, I didn't read the latest issue, is they need to do a better job of like when Invincible had a side book.
It's like an Invincible universe.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, I get like Radiant Pink is pretty obvious, but like Dead Lucky.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
If you weren't in tune, you wouldn't know. Or Rogue Sun at that. Like yeah.
Batman Incorporated number 3, Brisson and Timms on the art. This one got a little more interesting for me. Nice. We find out the one person killing all the trainers is Ghostmaker's old sidekick. Basically, the sidekick realizes, like, wow, Ghostmaker's a piece of shit. The people that are training everybody have murdered thousands of people across their history of being these awful, like, specialists in their fields. And he captures Clown Hunter and tries to like get him on his side. So I see what DC's trying to do with these new characters. We get to see some more cool characters evolved around Batman Incorporated, which is what it's supposed to be. So we get to see some different Batman style characters. We get Batman of Japan for a split second, who I love. I think it's Batman of Japan.
Was it Japan or China?
He was in China. Sorry, Batman of China. Yep. So that was cool. I liked him in the new Superman book. So, not a bad issue.
No, I really liked it. Who's the artist doing it?
Oh,
Timms?
Yeah, Timms. Yep.
but the art's phenomenal.
Yeah, really good art. Yeah, some of those characters he draws are like, damn, dude.
Yeah, and the page layout and everything, like it's a really fun book.
Yep. DC Mech number 5, Kenny Porter, Revis on the art. I thought this was a sick issue. Everybody basically gets a mech suit upgrade with the nth metal, and by the end of the issue, there's definitely like an upgrade to the art too. They go from like cartoony to being like from original to like the new ones are more like Pacific Rim style, where they're like more realistic looking and like it looks like, oh shit, these pack a punch. I don't know, like I think that was done intentionally, and now they're gonna fight Darkseid. I thought it was a good issue. Retroverse number 1, Cullen Bunn, John Bivens. This is a Comixology original, so if you have Amazon Prime, folks, you can read it for free. I thought this was a cool first issue. Again, Cullen Bunn, so it involves body dysmorphia. It's an interesting story. Girl wakes up from a party with a hangover, and she can fight monsters, and her friends and stuff seem to not recognize her. Whether it's, I don't know if they're trying to insinuate there's time travel or like something different is going on. But she seems to be like some type of machine or like alien that's been modified to fight these monsters. I thought it was a great first issue, especially for, being included with the Comixology Plus or whatever. So
yeah, it was interesting. I was kind of like, it was good, and I liked where it ended, and it's quote unquote free, so I'll keep reading it, but it didn't blow me away. I'll say that.
I read the other Comixology original, Scott Snyder and Jamal Eagle on the art. Dodson and the Forever Machine. Is that what it's called? Dudley Dodson?
Dudley Dodson and Forever Machine. Yeah, I'm way behind on that.
Yeah, it's issue 3. It's only 3 issues out now. I finally caught up on issue 3. It was a cool issue. You see like Dudley starting to fight back. And that there's like, they basically say, oh, there's a war coming, but the art is fantastic. Jamal does an amazing job. Scott's building this crazy, wacky world. So I'm really enjoying the book. So no complaints there.
I really like those first 2 issues.
Yeah, and I got to catch up. I didn't realize there's 4 issues out. It's interesting because like the originals, you can't subscribe to them for free because then it starts charging you. You have to like click them one at a time. Then it doesn't let you know when they come out. So Census, it has 4 issues out, so I'm 2 issues behind on Census.
Yeah, I'm in a routine of every Monday going through the new books. Yeah, I do it on my phone. I save them to my list and then go back.
Yeah, I need to start do that. And then ahead, I was so fortunate. Fortress of Comic News is so fortunate to get the first couple issues from Zach Kaplan and Luigi Baricelli, Dreammaster 1 and 2. Did you read those yet, Chris?
I have not had the chance.
If you don't read anything next week or like the next couple days, read these 2 books. I want to say Luigi Baricelli's art is like fucking phenomenal. I like these pages are like, he uses and I said this in the tweet, he uses every inch of these pages. Zach Kaplan, returning guest on the show, he wants to come back on and talk about these books next year, so we'll have him back on.
Keep saying Kaplan, it's not Kaplan.
I'm sorry, why do I keep saying Zach Kaplan, guys? I had that in the notes early yesterday. I messed it all up.
It's Jonathan Hendricks.
Jonathan Hedricks. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Hedricks, Jonathan Hedricks, not Zach Kaplan. Zach Kaplan is a good guy, but Jonathan Hedricks did this book with Luigi Baricelli. Amazing art. Hedricks, known for the Ream Count, right? That was a great book that he did. This is absolutely cool, and I think the universe he's building. It's so Dreammaster 1 and 2 kind of. I don't want to spoil too much, but like both issues take place in 2 different people's dreams, and the Dreammaster's involved. He's this guy that's fighting these demons in the dream world. He has some ties to the real world. He used to have a family at one point or something like that. And then there's a night queen or evil queen that that is trying to like kill him. So that's kind of like the overarching story. But the dream sequences you get, the art is amazing. The type of like monsters he's fighting is really cool. I know number 1 is out. Number 2 comes out next month, and that's through Black Box Comics. You can check their website out. They have some copies, or your local comic shop. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. And that's all I had this week, Chris.
All right. Well, I did read Census number 4.
Okay, nice.
Other than like a weird political moment, I really liked it. It tried to so there was a story about these ghosts that were like, they didn't explain it too well, but I have a feeling that they died while in the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
So they're obviously black ghosts or African American ghosts, whatever you want to say. And they had to like kind of sneak in this whole like, well, the reason they're still here is because America still hates black people. And I'm like, this is a weird twist. But, but I didn't hate it. I was just kind of like, this is strangely out of place. But I mean, Mark Bernardin's the writer, obviously a black man himself. He was kind of putting in some of his thoughts on what's going on right now with that whole conversation that we're having as a nation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was a good issue altogether. We got some closure on like our lead character kind of growing and being a better person. I thought this was supposed to be 4 issues. I get the feeling from this that it's not. It's going to be more.
Interesting.
Because it doesn't really have a finite ending, other than like finite ending of like him finishing his mission of like getting these ghosts to sign the census paperwork.
Okay.
But Census altogether, I really recommend it to people. If you're a physical only person, I'm sure it'll be in trade next year. Pick it up; it's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, and we get a big Cthulhu monster in this, so yeah.
Oh, nice, awesome.
Nightclub number 1. This is Mark Millar's new vampire book.
Cool.
I really liked it. I'll start there, but it's an interesting way to start the book. So you get these kids who are trying to be YouTube stars, and one kid's like, "I know how to do it, parkour." So it felt very like, what, 2010 YouTube?
Yeah.
It's almost like Mark Millar's not a young kid and doesn't understand like what's going on though.
Not hipping with it.
But so they try to do parkour, and a kid decides to jump his bike from like building to building in what I assume is New York City, and falls off and breaks like all of his bones, and basically is on death's door. That's the setup to get the vampires involved. So there's this vampire that comes in, and after everybody leaves, and then turns him and abducts him. And that vampire explains to him that he basically goes to people who are on death's doorstep and turns them because he's trying to create an army. He doesn't really explain what the army's for yet, but most of the book is the character learning and you as the reader learning the rules of the vampires in this world, which is, he kind of says it in one panel. He's like, you've seen movies, you know how this works. And at the end of the book, we get the lead character comes back to his friends after disappearing for a while, and is dressed up almost like in a superhero luchador kind of thing, and says like, I know how we can get rich now. So like I have a feeling they're going to twist it into a superhero thing or like a online YouTube thing. But all in all, good issue. It did have some things that, like I said, were kind of old manny about it, but I'm always down for some good vampire stuff.
Hell yeah, you are.
Let's start here. So I got Danger Street. I picked it up. I will not be continuing this book.
Okay, I'm glad. I wanted to hear your feedback before I grabbed it.
I didn't even finish it. It's
wow.
So at the end of the day, like, we've both admitted we're just not Tom Taylor fans anymore. Like, at this point,
Tom King.
Yeah. I'm a huge Tom Taylor fan.
Yeah,
not Tom King fans. It bored the crap out of me. Like, you have the Creeper in this book, and you bored me.
Yeah, that's wild.
So yeah, I won't be.
That's it. I
won't be continuing.
I haven't had a book too boring to finish in a long time. That's interesting.
I literally was sitting there. I'm like, I'm done. I can't finish this. And at this point, I'm just done. I'm done with Tom King.
Yeah.
I know people love him. I'm glad that people enjoy his work. I do not. And I just need to, no matter what the premise is.
Yeah.
I just need to let it go.
Yeah, just let it go.
Yeah. Planet Hulk Worldbreaker number 2. We finally get Hulk.
Nice.
So Cho and this woman go looking for Bruce Banner. They find him. We get kind of some more hints about the world where like Cho not only does he have these humans that he transformed, but he also tried to create like Hulk animals. So there's like a Hulk kitten who hulks out and turns into like a tiger, a big green tiger.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And then they find Hulk and they have a whole conversation with him where they want Hulk to help them kind of fix the wrongs. And Banner's like, no, like nobody understands. I've been doing this for thousands of years. Like Hulk doesn't fix wrongs; he creates wrongs. And the woman who's fairly young is like very angry because her son's been abducted, and she wants him back for obvious reasons. And Banner just keeps saying like no, we're not doing. I can't do this. I've done this before. It doesn't work. And at some point, whether people love me or hate me, I just need to move on. And she pushes, so he turns into the Hulk and like kind of screams at her, and then disappears into some lava because that's the thing that Hulk does apparently. And during all this, we find out that not only that Jen is still alive, so She-Hulk is out there somewhere, and so she goes, "Well, fuck Hulk, I'm gonna go find She-Hulk."
Mm-hmm.
And that's also when along the way we discover there's this like floating city where like all the people who are hunting the Hulk people live.
Mm-hmm.
And Cho still has contact with these people because there's some sort of arrangement he has with them, and tells them like I need to talk to Jen. And that's when we find out that Jen is actually the power source for the city, and if she wakes up or leaves, the city just comes crashing down. So
that's not good.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It definitely took a good twist, something I really enjoyed, and I'm just glad to see Hulk in a Planet Hulk book.
Nice.
Savage Avengers 2099. Very a good issue. I mean, Doom 2099's in it. They fight Ultron, so I'm happy. And Ultron just kills them all.
Nice.
With the exception of Punisher 2099 and the Miles Morales Deathlock. And then he turns the Savage Avengers into robot creatures of his own. So, listen, spoilers, but this last page, is like them walking in all their like robot forms, and that's
cool.
The art's phenomenal. The story's really cool. I'm interested to see because like, let's see. Cloak and Dagger aren't anywhere in anything else, so who cares if they die? Weapon H, same deal. Black Knight, like I really hope he doesn't die because I like Black Knight. Flash Thompson Anti-Venom, once again, isn't anywhere. Nobody cares if he dies.
Yeah, right.
But there's no way that Elektra Daredevil is dead. So that's where I'm like, they're not really dead. Mm-hmm. There's something's going to happen and they're going to come back because Elektra Daredevil is like an integral part of what's going on at Marvel right now.
Right.
So that's the only part where like Propose kind of lost me was I'm like, I get it's comics, but like there's no weight to your death scene here because I know these characters aren't dead because at least one of them is integral. And then my last book, this is my pick of the week, and I was spot on. Everybody needs to go pick this book out. It is A Vicious Circle #1. First of all, the physical copy is one of the prestige versions. So like here's, of Savage Avengers next to it.
Yep. Larger.
The art is amazing. I got to get the artist's name. Lee Bermejo.
Oh, Lee Bermejo. Yeah.
Bermejo.
Yeah.
And this is the book written by Mattson Tomlin, the guy who did the Batman.
Yep.
And that Batman book earlier last year.
Yeah.
So this is a sci-fi book about there's two guys who are basically connected through some sort of time travel, and whenever one of them kills somebody, they both just blink into a new spot in time.
Okay.
The book starts off, the lead character, now this is important to the story. Our lead character is a black man, and it's obviously taking place or during segregation era, so integration. And he has a family with a kid and everything. And it seems like this book that's going to go about and talk about segregation and all this. And we end up finding out that like he knows something that everybody else doesn't know. So like something happens in the news. They're talking about the all the laws that were passed to block integration. So I don't know why I can't get that fucking word out. Probably because it's a word I haven't had to say in a long time.
Yeah, I know, right?
And so he goes to a bookie and is like, not only is this not going to pass, but this is when we're going to integrate.
I got you.
The schools, and I'll bet this much money on it. And everybody's kind of like at this thing, like, you only come here every so often, and you always win. Like, what the fuck is up? What do you know that I don't?
Yeah.
And he kind of jokingly says, I'm from the future. And everybody's like, all right, fuck you if you're going to be an asshole about it.
Yeah.
And then we find out that he has this person locked up in his basement.
Oh, from the
future. It's the person who he's attached to. And they have kind of this conversation, and you still don't really know, but he knows that the day is coming. And then when he gets home from the bookie, he finds his wife like on her deathbed and his kid pretty much dead. And when the kid finally dies in the hospital, they blink into a new time period.
Okay.
And then with every time period, they change the coloring and the art style, so it looks a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy he's fighting against, just like they have a little conversation, then he just starts like mercifully killing people, so that every panel they're in a new time zone.
Oh wow.
And then we find out kind of what the deal is, and they don't know what happens if like one kills the other, so they're kind of afraid to kill each other. And we end up in this kind of cyberpunk era where it's obviously where they're from, and we find out like who's behind everything and why he was sent into the past to try to stop something, almost like Sarah Connor-esque in Terminator, like go to this point to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he's like, there's a reason that we're still here. Like he could obviously get us out of here. So there's something. And then conflict happens and they blink again. I just adore, from the art to the story, to like everything about it, just adore this book. It's a 3-issue series. If you can add one more book that's 3 issues to your pull list, do it. Like it's so fucking good.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. Awesome. Well, yeah, Lee Bermejo has been around DC for a while. He's done like the Joker series. He did a lot of Batman tie-in stuff. He's an amazing artist.
So I probably have read some of his stuff before.
Yeah, you definitely have read. I think he even did. He might have done the Arkham Asylum book, or the
one with Grant Morrison.
Yeah, he might have done the art on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of those books I went back to the next day and just like looked through the panels because there's so much detail and so much.
Yeah, he's really good.
It. Yeah.
He usually only does miniseries though. He doesn't do like ongoing because of his art. I think is so detailed.
Yeah, he does. It seems that way. He's like one of those. There's a lot to his art. But yeah, it's 3 issues, so it makes sense.
Yep.
And it's Boom Studios, so support a smaller publisher, everybody.
Yeah.
And then I was going to say earlier, but I picked up My Bad, the trade.
Oh, nice.
I haven't got a chance to read it yet. It just showed up.
Yeah.
But that's why I haven't been reading Billionaire Island, is I'm just at the point with Ahoy where I'm going to trade weight and all their stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm going back and reading the stuff that I missed.
Cool. I'm going to have to pick up the trade now that it's out.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool cover and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike, that's everything I had this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, and you can find the show at Fortress Comics _ on Twitter. Also at FortressComicNews.com, like we talked about at the top of the show. New website, check it out. Also, if you guys want to support the show, there's multiple ways. First, give us the reviews on Stitcher, Apple iTunes, whatever podcatcher you use. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below in the YouTube version of this. And if you want to go the extra mile, there's the affiliate links down below. Supporting our sponsors, which we didn't have one this week, but support them anyways. And Patreon at patreon.com/fortresscomics. So everybody, thank you so much for watching and listening this week, and we'll see you all here next week.